against military coups in the sub-region. Also coming up, value-added tax revenue increases by over 90% year-on-year to 1.2 billion cedis as of May 2023. On the international front, this afternoon, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu pays tribute to soldiers who died in a helicopter crash while on an evacuation mission in Niger State on Monday. Welcome to the broadcast. We're starting this afternoon's bulletin with news from the Labour Front as the National Labour Commission is holding a meeting with the leadership of the striking colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana, SETAG. Now, SETAG has been on strike since August 1 over what they say is government's failure to implement the agreed terms of the conditions of service. According to SETAG, members will only return to work if the government shows commitment to their demands. Labour correspondent Daniel Opoko is monitoring the meeting and is joining us for some updates. Daniel, thank you so much for joining us. Good afternoon, good to see you. Has the meeting started and what have you been gathering so far?
Right, good afternoon to you, Crowd. Yes, the meeting just began called by the National Labour Commission and also the leadership of SETAG as well. And also we have the Secretariat of the Wages and Salaries Commission, as well as the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations. So these three bodies are within the meeting as I speak to you. Basically, the meeting is to discuss, one, the need for SETAG to call off its strike, and also look at the payment schedule. Already, the Labour Commission gave a directive that government should comply by paying what is due members of SETAG. But unfortunately, the payment has not been done. Basically, because according to SETAG, they want government to get payment before they'll be able to call off their strike. So as we speak now, the meeting is ongoing, and what we can hazard to say from the office of the commission currently is that one, the commission is likely to compel SETAG to call off the strike. Failure to do so means that the commission, they have to go to court to enforce its ruling by asking members of SETAG to resume work and also allow continued discussions or allow space for government to be able to pay what is due there.
So with this information that you have, where do you see this heading to from the conversations you're having with the officials involved off the record?
Right. So currently you realize that the leadership of SETAG actually are patiently waiting for the money to hit their accounts before they will call off the strike. And what we're able to also gather from the Secretariat of the Wages and Salaries Commission is the fact that they have issued a statement or have written a letter to controller where the payment will be done. But the payments can only be effected after the validation exercise has been done within the public and the civil service. At the end of every month, validation exercise is conducted to verify those who came to work and those who could not make it, or those who have resigned from the workplace. So every month, validation exercise takes place. Currently, before the payment to be done, validation exercise will have to be conducted before the payment will be done. And also, SETAG leadership may have to call off that strike today because of what is currently going. We know the College of Education, they are supposed to write exams. So if they are unable to call off the strike today, then the National Labour Commission will be left with no option than one, to go to court or make a proposal to government to freeze their salaries, which clearly stated by the National Labour Act 651 that if you don't work within a space of time, that means that government has the power, government has authority to freeze your salary. So that's where we are gradually getting to. But to this afternoon's meeting, clearly you could realize that when you look at the body language of members of SETAG, they're ready to call off the strike based on if they should get any concrete commitment from government that indeed the amount will be paid to them, and also will also hit the accounts by close of day today or by close of the week.
Daniel Opoko, thank you. Stay with us here on TV3 in a subsequent bulletins. We'll bring you updates on the ongoing meeting between the NLC and the members of SETAG there. To some other subjects this afternoon, and Chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament and MP for Ascent Central, Kennedy Ejapon, says ECOWAS needs to act to send a strong signal against military coups in the sub-region. Military chiefs from ECOWAS are expected to meet in Accra on Thursday, August 17, to finalize preparations for potential military intervention to restore the ousted President Mohamed Bazoum. He spoke on New Day earlier.
We sat on it. My brother, the security of this country is very, very important. if we make a mistake and we allow coup d'etats all over West Africa, tomorrow it will be me and you. And the first thing, they'll dissolve, the word is dissolve parliament. They will arrest journalists. Check all the coups. You see, so the security of this country is very, very important. And no matter the amount of money, prevention is better than cure. Prevention will not cost you as much as you are curing it.
There's Boko. We never quell the insecurity that we're going to Niger.
You see, we have obligation as ECOWAS members, and you cannot run away from it. We have obligation because, in fact, the second most important country in West Africa is Ghana. I've been an ECOWAS member before. So it's an obligation. And this, yesterday I posed the question and answered it myself. Why is it that Burkina, Guinea, and Mali, we didn't go there, and now we are going to Niger?
Okay.
Again, I gave a solution to it that this should serve as a deterrent because it's becoming rampant. Coup d'etat is becoming rampant in ECOWAS. So we should use Niger to serve as a deterrent that anybody who tries again, ECOWAS will come after him. Okay. And this is not the first time.
All right.
We've done that in Liberia, Sierra Leone. We've done that in Gambia when Yahya Jammeh said he was not going to hand over power and all those things.
All right.
Well, the chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament, when he appeared on New Day earlier in the day, also spoke about some pertinent issues concerning governance. We'll be getting more on that and also getting some reactions from an international relations, also a security analyst, on the back of the comment of government's commitment as a member of the Economic Community of West African States shortly. But in the meantime, former Nigerian President General Olusegun Obasanjo has blamed poor leadership and governance for the continent's woes. He believes change can only occur if the youth take a key role in governance and positively change the narrative. He was speaking at the 15th African Youth and Governance Summit at Mankessim in the Central Region.
In the last 5 years, Africa has recorded 8 of its democratically elected heads of state toppled in coups by military juntas. 5 of the coups happened in West Africa. The recent coup in Niger, which ousted Mohamed Bazoum, has prompted members of the West African Regional Bloc, ECOWAS, to take action. ECOWAS has tabled among options to deploy the military to intervene in the case of Niger and reinstate Mohamed Bazoum as head of state of that country. Addressing the 15th African Youth and Governance Summit, former President of Nigeria, General Olusegun Obasanjo, blamed the military overthrows on abysmal administrative performance.
The situation we are in is simply, let us put it as it is simply leadership and governance. We are in bad shape. We are in bad situation because leadership and governance in our different countries, in our sub-region, and indeed have not been what it should be. And what we have in West Africa today is not just unconstitutional change of government that will transition to civilian or civil government quickly. I visited one of the countries not too long ago, and after 2 nights, I came out with the feeling that young boys who are in charge of government, military, are not thinking of transition, they are thinking of one generation. They believe they require a generation to bring about the necessary change to the vestiges of colonialism and bad governance.
He urged the youth to stand up and change the status quo when need be.
I would like to throw a challenge to all young people gathered here to be bold and challenge status quo and conventions. One of the problems young people are facing in Africa is lack of opportunity.
The summit was attended by more than 65 delegates from 26 African countries.
Now, with the new Patriotic Party's flag-bearer election on the horizon, Kennedy Agyapong has emerged as a strong contender, captivating attention with his unwavering political stance and track record of electoral victories. The seasoned Asante Central MP's blend of vocal charisma, adept campaign fundraising and media presence has propelled him to the forefront of the race. However, as the MPP's internal battle intensifies, his past controversies and unfiltered lifestyle continues to pose both challenge and advantage to his pursuit of leadership. In the lead-up to the eagerly anticipated new Patriotic Party flag-bearer elections later this year, Kennedy Agyapong has emerged as a noteworthy candidate, presenting a formidable challenge for the position. Agyapong's political journey is characterized by his fearless approach, outspoken nature, and an undefeated electoral history. Appearing on TV3's New Day program, Agyapong demonstrated a tempered demeanor, signaling a potential shift from his confrontational approach. Nevertheless, old habits, they say, die hard, and the seasoned politician's reputation for forthrightness remains integral to his identity.
I'm not rude, I'm confident. And here, in this country, Ghanaians misconstrue confidence to be arrogance. That is the challenge I have in this country. All what you are saying, everything that I've said have come to pass is the truth. And once I believe is the truth, nobody can threaten me because we are serving this country and Ghana first.
Agyapong often compared to other vociferous political figures who critics argue have failed to deliver substantial national improvement, vehemently defends himself against such comparisons. The aspiring presidential candidate asserts that he is not merely a talkative, but harbours concrete plans for the country's transformation.
None of the politicians in this country have created employment more than me. Both NDC, CPP, everybody. So if those who could not even create 500 jobs, you see them or you perceive them as capable of ruling this country, how much more an individual who has over 7,000 workers in this country?
Notably, Agyapong, a 5-time member of parliament on the ticket of the NPP, has not hesitated to criticize his own government for the economic performance and their commitment to fight corruption. He says, for instance, that the ongoing Cecilia Dapaah controversy that involves large stash of cash at a home is bad for the government.
An experienced politician and a businessman.
You see, whether we like it or not, it's going to affect MPP. May I speak the truth? I'm fair. When Victoria Hammer mentioned that if she makes $1 million, she's going to do A, B, C, D. Look at how Ghanaians chastised her. So the one who just said, if I get, and the one who has it. So it's a big problem. We cannot run away from it.
Assigning a rating of 6 out of 10 to the performance of the Akufo-Addo administration, he emphasizes the values of patriotism, honesty, and discipline are cornerstones to reshape the nation's prospects.
I have sat down, carefully analyzed the situations and the challenges of this country. And I know that there are 3 key areas that if we use that, we can change the fortunes of this country. That is patriotism, honesty, and discipline.
The eventual outcome of this closely watched election promises to shape Ghana's political landscape in the years to come. Kennedy Agyapong will hope he is the one. Noble Crosbyan and TV3 News, Accra. Well, still on the backdrop of the appearance of the chairman of the Defence and Interior Committee of Parliament here at on New Day at TV3, Kennedy Ohene Agyapong, the comments he made about Ghana's contribution to the work of ECOWAS by virtue of it being a member. Let's speak with Dr. Kweku Anane Jinde, who is an international law lecturer from GIMPA. Doc, thank you so much for joining us. My first question to you is, should ECOWAS completely rule out military intervention, bearing in mind the degrees of sovereignty of the nations and the member states of ECOWAS who have intentions to contribute or not contribute troops to the quest?
Well, good afternoon. You know, initially, when I heard that they wanted to intervene militarily, my first question was, why was there a coup d'etat? Why are there rampant coup d'etats? All are a result of alienation, poverty, deprivation, social inclusion, and in the case of Niger, it is an anti-colonial reaction. So we should understand where these people are coming from. So if we want to talk about any military intervention, first and foremost, I don't think there's an appetite, even among member states of ECOWAS, for military intervention. Mali has indicated its intention not to be part. Burkina Faso said it is not going to be part. And apart from that, looking at the situation in which we find ourselves now, across board, I don't think there's any appetite for military intervention. If anything at all, they should continue along the path of diplomacy.
Right.
But they should not take the threat of the use of force. You see, what ECOWAS did from the beginning was to do what we call strategic ambiguity. In case you're going to negotiate at the diplomatic level, you don't put all your cards on the table. You create an ambiguous situation to keep the other person guessing. So what ECOWAS did was to come up with this military threat.
Okay.
And as a result, initially, their position was that we will not even talk to anybody. But after the threat, you see that they've come back to the negotiation table.
Right.
It means there are some moves on both sides.
Right.
So if there are moves on the part of the junta, why don't we continue along that path? But we should not take the military option completely out of the table.
Right. So, Doc, we know that we have obligations as member states or ECOWAS. That's also being confirmed by the chairman of the Defense and Interior Committee in Parliament. Is there legal justification for a possible military intervention? Again, bearing in mind the levels of sovereignty of the various countries, in this particular case, Niger. If Ghana decides not to contribute troops or to contribute troops while other countries do not, in international law, where does this fall?
You know, Ghana, we say, is a dualist state. Ghana is a dualist state. So any international obligations that we commit to, that obligation or that agreement must come before the sovereign people of Ghana, which is the parliament, to get the approval. So because we are a dualist state, you cannot just go straight and then commit the country into war. So first and foremost, before you even agree to go to war, you have to come back to the people of Ghana, that is the sovereign parliament, to get our approval. So that's the legal position there. If you look at Article 41, 42, thereabout, it is there. I'm talking about sovereignty. During the Cold War, there was this emphasis on the sovereignty of nations, so there should not be interference. But with time, international law has changed. The thinking within the international law space has changed. And now the position is that there can be interventions, but based on certain conditions. That is, to avert a humanitarian crisis in that country, you can intervene. And to protect the citizens against its own government, you can intervene. And also to go there at the invitation and with the consent of the affected state, you can intervene. Or if your national security is threatened by conditions or the activities in that country, then you can also take action by intervening. We call it preemptive strike. But all this, you require the approval of the UN Security Council under Chapter 7. You can't just get up and go. Although some major countries have done that without recourse to the UN system. But the legal position is that before you can even intervene, when all these conditions exist, you need the approval of the UN Security Council under Chapter 7. That is the legal position.
Doc, bearing in mind, bearing in mind the happenings in Niger, the latest coming from the military junta to consider pressing charges of treason against the ousted president. What happens to ECOWAS trying to protect one of their own in a democratically elected president, Mohamed Bazoum?
Well, you see, you cannot use an illegal means to achieve a legal end, because the junta is an illegal entity in the first place. So, on what basis are they charging somebody for treason? If anything, so they should be charged for treason. But we've gotten beyond there. What we need to do now is to negotiate, to talk to them, so that you can have a transition period.
Okay.
These legalities and others would not get it anyway. But let us engage them diplomatically, while not taking out the use of force completely out of the table.
Right.
Let us have it there. It will remain there as a threat, and it will compel them to come to the negotiation table so that we can use diplomacy to resolve this matter.
I thank you so much.
I don't think that the use of force is going to benefit anybody anyway, because they are brothers. So we should find a very peaceful means of resolving this instead of the use of force. Even if ECOWAS wants to go, ECOWAS as a body belonging to the United Nations, first and foremost, they have to go to the UN for approval.
Dr. Kofi Orlins-Lindsay, thank you so much for sharing with us those opinions. To some other subjects this afternoon, and former Second Lady Matilda Amissah-Arthur has faulted the traditional and political leadership for the underdevelopment of the Western region. Speaking at the opening of a Western Regional Development Forum by the Nana Kwabena Nketia, the Fourth Trust, Matilda Amissah-Arthur lamented that the Western region has been neglected and has no legacy.
Kwabena Nketia, the Fourth Trust, is a non-partisan, non-governmental and non-profitable institution that follows the precepts of a former paramount chief of Esikado traditional area who played a lead role in Ghana's struggle for independence. The aim of the Stakeholders Forum held at Buzia in the Hunter West District of the Western region was to try to develop an unprejudiced blueprint to chart and monitor the future developmental progress of the natural resources in the Western region. Former Second Lady Mrs. Matilda Amissah-Arthur, in a speech, questioned why both the political and traditional leaderships have failed the region.
Nananom, where have you been? Where have you been when all the lands are being taken over by Galamsey? Some say that you have sold our lands. Some say that you have fronted for big men. And some even say that you have been given huge amounts of money. Nananom, Awulaimo. As for me, Nanamanye, Bosa, who tend the Misata, I don't even see the huge amounts of monies on you. I don't see it in your buildings. I don't see it in the way you dress. I don't see it anywhere. But did you collect those huge amounts? Or the small amounts just to allow our waters to be polluted and our lands depleted? What is left of the lands that our forefathers guarded so jealously? And how faithful have you been as custodians of the lands?
A development economist at the University of Cape Coast, Professor John Victor Mensah, urged the leaders to unite for development from their numerous natural resources.
Western region, most of the time you say that we have that accolade saying the best come from the West. But do we see this thing reflecting in our lives? Do the majority of the people see these resources as a blessing or as a curse? It appears it is meeting that paradigm that resources are cursed to us.
Western Regional Minister Kwabena Okyere-Darko-Mensah stated that roads, infrastructure and the tangibles are a matter of demand and supply, and it is time Ghana supported the unique requirements of the Western region.
It is time we discuss with the country the need to support the unique requirement of the Western region so that we can continue to support the country as a whole.
The Western Regional Development Forum, held under the theme Driving Inclusive and Equitable Development, brought together the traditional leaders, religious leaders, among others.
Now, the Trades Union Congress has cautioned government against proposing cost of living allowance, also known as COLA, during the next salary negotiations. According to the Deputy Secretary General, Joshua Ansah, The reintroduction of COLA will impact negatively on pension contributions and reduce the purchasing power of workers. We're speaking at a workshop with the 22nd affiliate unions of the TUC in Accra.
Before the 2023 salary negotiations, the government granted a 20% cost of living allowance to public sector workers. After negotiations, the 20% cost of living allowance COLA was withdrawn and 30% was granted as salary increment. The government expended 44.9 billion cedis to pay 700,000 workers. A new round of salary negotiations for 2024 are expected to begin soon. Organized labor is demanding more than 30% increase and cautioned against the reintroduction of cost of living allowance COLA.
But in case government should propose COLA again, will you take it?
I don't think it will be wise for us to go for COLA because COLA does not affect our pensions, it doesn't affect our ends. So we think that it's better for us to actually go straight to the negotiations and get what is due us.
We sought to find out whether the IMF agreement could affect their negotiations.
We cautioned government when they wanted to go to the IMF on this. And I remember I made a statement that if the government still want to go to the IMF, we want to caution the government that their decisions and their conditions should not affect our minimum wage discussions in this very country. And I think we could still stand by that one.
Meanwhile, the Sector Minister of Employment and Labour Relations, Ignatius Bafwewa, has called for calm on the labor front.
Our sources within organized labor indicate that they will be asking more than 30% because last time they were giving 30%. How ready is government to afford that payment?
Well, that has not come to the fore and I wouldn't want to preempt that for now.
In case 50% is table on the table, the ability...
I'm saying that is not on my table yet and I wouldn't want to speak on that yet.
Is it fair to say that you start negotiating somewhere at the end of this month? Because we have up to November to factor that in the budget.
Well, I have indicated we're going to start soon. What that soon means, leave that to me.
You're watching Midday Live on TV3. My name is Noble Crosby and we're going for a break. We're back with more stories. Please stay with us.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to demonstrate to you the superior properties of Flamingo paint as compared to other paint brands on the market. We take equal quantities of Flamingo paint and this ordinary paint. We then dilute them with water. And now, let the test begin. The gentleman on the left is going to apply the ordinary paint and the gentleman on my right will use the Flamingo superior paint. As you can clearly see, Flamingo has the obvious better hiding. Furthermore, Flamingo has painted a much larger area. You know, one bucket of Flamingo paint is equal to several buckets of any other paint brand on the market. Flamingo paint is made with superior formulation to give superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
Everybody knows Acrobato. And if you know Acrobato, it means you know M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic is my pillar. Let's hear what others are saying about M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. Who will be careful M-Punch one?
Chesena me ankasa me period na say problems wom ntina ma wo ho idea ma me papa chesena nya asem ketewa na me kwan point no mo hwe me modem no mo hwe bibia na so mo meduro me fire no ene ma won kra me enu kofro kwa na mkwan mu a eba
and everything yourself
me ma me no adwodwo eda ho a wontumi nante ene ne ko end point o mama no nura ene ne ho idea watimi asori anante.
That's end point for you of Acrobato. Hello hey ohwehwe what che okay a free bra wo di end point what dance am me call you no me Joseph semana nkoyie and person na my emre nyina na magina sebema na me be fie for there the one dey nyina jaresa. You heard everything. I have secret. M-Punch is my secret. M-Punch Homeopathic Clinic. I'm free.
They came, they saw, and are set to conquer. Ghana's Strongest 2023 is at an end, and 4 men will compete for the title in the grand finale. Who wins this year's Ghana's Strongest? Will it be Godfred Akobila with 7 appearances, Bright Appiah, the Swatman, Takrada's finest, Ebenezer Amos, or the new man, Jeffrey Ekufu? Don't miss this epic finale live on TV3 at the Obra Sports on Sunday, 20th August at 2 p.m. Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch Ghana's Strongest this Sunday only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Drugnet.
This water pouring on you from the rooftop signifies that in this life, rain shall fall on you, but nothing shall happen to you.
It's a week of fashion and glam on Ghana's Most Beautiful. This week, our beautiful contestants will grace the runway, showcasing exquisite outfits crafted by talented designers and featuring the latest collections from GTP. Get ready to be dazzled as they bring elegance, charm, and a touch of Ghanaian culture to the fashion world. It's a night of style, sophistication, and celebration, where fashion meets tradition and a breathtaking display of creativity and beauty. Exclusively on TV3 at 8 p.m. this Sunday. It's an eviction week and not less than 2 contestants will be evicted. To save your contestant from eviction, vote by dialing *713*13# or download the TV3 reality app to vote. GMB 2023, Ghana's beauty, Africa's pride. GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Camon 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soap, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxy Acrylic Paint, Nescafe Blood Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco, Frutelli Calipo, Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubuna Womwankasa, Dragnet, Shalatem, Top Choco, Global Wings Travel and Tour.
Makeup was done by House of Tara.
It wasn't always this easy. When I was 26, I got my first chance to perform a surgery.
Can I have a selfie? Thank you so much.
So I was holding the scalpel. My hands were trembling.
Excuse me, ma'am. Can I have your autograph, please? Sorry, sir.
Yes, go on.
Well then, as soon as the senior surgeon entered the OT, Yes, Dr. Matur. I'll be there in 30 minutes. It's an important surgery. Rain check?
Sure.
They are in love, but will they be able to adjust?
Eternal Love shows Tuesdays to Fridays at 6 p.m. only on TV3.
Brought to you by Out Multipurpose Insecticide Spray and Quell.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Business News is up next. Manu Afolo will join us for the latest in business. Over to you, Manu.
Thank you, Crosby. Welcome again to the business segment. With me, Manu Afolo. In our first story, data from the Ghana Revenue Authority has showed an increase in value-added tax collections from January to May, amounting to 1.2 billion cedis. This represents over 90% increase of 649.93 million cedis in tax collected within the same period last year. According to the Assistant Commissioner of the Accra Central Area Enforcement, Joseph Annan, the increase in VAT receipts was due to the VAT enforcement exercise and other measures instituted by the authority to encourage tax compliance.
Last year, May, the collection for VAT was 646, thereabout, million cedis, Ghana cedis. This year, May, it has jumped up to 1.2 billion averagely. That is by Bank of Ghana governance report on how well the economy has done. And that is the established, collection for VAT, which works up to 92.4% increase in the growth of VAT. That is if you have to do year on year. So that is what we have done. And let me say that this cannot be limited to just the test purchase. Last year we did a number of invoice inflation, EVAT, and the test phase. So it's a collaborative, effort, and we intend carrying on with the fight. And I believe that together we can bring some significant improvement in the collection of VAT and then the total revenue collection for the country.
We'll take more stories as Ghana records 4.5 billion trade deficits in 2022. This is contained in the Ghana 2022 Trade Vulnerability Report released by the Ghana Statistical Service. Okay, now the Ghana records 4.5 billion trade deficits in 2022. This is contained in the Ghana 2022 Trade Vulnerability Report released by the Ghana Statistical Service. We'll bring you the details of this story later. We'll move on to the Director of Academic Planning and Quality Assurance at Gimpa Business School, who is optimistic that the Bank of Ghana may consider printing more money to recapitalize as a result of the over 60 billion cedis losses it recorded in the 2022 fiscal year. According to Dr. Ebenezer Bugui-Anafo, the country's current credit ratings leaves little option for the central bank's recapitalization. Bank of Ghana and its subsidiaries recorded a negative equity of 54.52 billion cedis as a result of losses of 60.86 billion cedis during the 2022 financial year. In their key audit matter, auditors of the central bank said the negative equity is considered a key audit matter because it is a significant risk for the audit due to the impact on the ability of the bank and its subsidiaries to meet their operational and debt obligations as they fall due, the ability of the bank to fulfill its policy mandates. These are to maintain stability in the general price levels, support the general economic policy of government, promote economic growth, ensure effective and efficient operation of the banking and credit systems in the country, and the ability of the bank and its subsidiaries to operate as a going concern. Financial analysts have concluded that the central bank is bankrupt. But in its response, the central bank listed the occurrences that led to the losses and concluded that a central bank cannot be bankrupt. Director of Academic Planning and Quality Assurance, Dr. Ebenezer Bugui-Anafo, has this to say.
A central bank cannot be insolvent or it cannot go bankrupt because it has other sources of making money, right? So even in the event that it goes bankrupt, all right, the government can bail it out, or it can also borrow from other central banks. But the situation we find ourselves is that the government of Ghana cannot bail it because this is a government that is also being built out by IMF. So what I can foresee, where I stand now, is the way out of this situation will be for them to print more money.
And that's it for business news on Midday Live. My name is Menua Fo. We'll take a quick break but bring you more news from the world of sports. Stay with us.
This water pouring on you from the rooftop signifies that in this life, rain shall fall on you, but nothing shall happen to you.
It's a week of fashion and glam on Ghana's Most Beautiful. This week, our beautiful contestants will grace the runway, showcasing exquisite outfits crafted by talented designers and featuring the latest collections from GTP. Get ready to be dazzled as they bring elegance, charm, and a touch of Ghanaian culture to the fashion world. It's a night of style, sophistication, and celebration, where fashion meets tradition and a breathtaking display of creativity and beauty. Exclusively on TV3 at 8 p.m. this Sunday. It's an eviction week and not less than 2 contestants will be evicted. To save your contestant from eviction, vote by dialing *713*13# or download the TV3 reality app to vote. GMB 2023, Ghana's Beauty, Africa's pride.
GMB 2023 is sponsored by Gino Tomato Mix, GTP, Techno Camon 20 Series, AT, Pepsodent Charcoal and Lemon-Infused Formula and Pepsodent Natural Herbal Formula, Geisha Moringa and Geisha Black Soup, Key Soup, Bell Pack Tissues, Sankofa Natural Spices, Vitamilk, Deluxy Acrylic Paint, Nescofa Blood Tonic, Heaven Black Mosquito Spray and Coil, Enapa Foods, Freedom from Casapreco,
Frutelli Calipo,
Duffy's Health and Beauty, Obuasi Bitters, Nubuna Womwankasa, Dragnet, Shalatem, Top Choco, Global Wings Travel and Tour. Makeup was done by House of Tara.
Are you ready to win solid cash every day with Cash Out? Be a proud winner of lots of cash simply by watching or listening to any of Media General stations. That's right, you are being rewarded for your loyalty. Tune in to all Media General brands. TV3, 3FM 92.7, Onia TV, Onia FM 95.1, all in Accra, Akuma FM 87.9 in Kumasi, and Connect FM 97.1 in Takrady. To enter the Cash Out raffle on your favorite Media General station, just dial *439#. Follow the prompt and pick your favorite platform to enter. Voila! You are now eligible to become one of the 10 lucky winners of a cool cash prize. Remember, this is every day, all day on your favorite Media General station. Cash out and win big! This is in partnership with Radio Entertainment Limited. This promo is regulated by the National Lottery Authority on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply.
The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, has scaled up its commitment to ensuring improved access to treatment for teachers battling cancer. Together with the Sweden Ghana Medical Center, SGMC, NAT provides teachers and members on pension with free cancer treatment.
Effective this particular year, when you retire and unfortunately something like this thing happens to you, the center will take care of it.
And on top, the Ghana National Association of Teachers also seeks better conditions of service for members in hard-to-reach communities, as well as aiding better access to the professional development of members.
Apart from the professional courses, we are going to have programs for our members, that members will be moving to Abankro to have a field and also get continual professional development from the institute.
Learn more on TV3. Make a date with NAT-R every Wednesday at 5:45 p.m. and Sundays at 1:30 p.m. NAT-R, hope for the Ghanaian teacher.
NAT-R shows Wednesdays at 5:45 p.m. and on Sundays at 1:30 p.m. on TV3.
Welcome back to the program. Let's bring you some more stories. And the National Democratic Congress Youth Wing has unveiled a series of initiatives aimed at pressuring the government to retract the recently introduced 10% betting tax. This move comes in response to concerns of what they perceive as an unjust taxation policy disproportionately affecting the country's youth and the widening betting industry. The implementation of the 10% betting tax is intended to bolster government revenue and has faced considerable criticism. Let's speak with Osman Bukhari from the youth wing of the NDC for some more reasons as to why they are kicking against this in the face of government's urgent need of revenue. Osman, thank you so much for joining us on the program. You're kicking against the government 10% betting tax that was recently implemented. Your reasons are that it is not a step in the right direction?
Yes, thank you very much. And I would say a good afternoon to your viewers. And first and foremost, due to the current excruciating hardship that people are going through in this country, we only expect that this will be a government that will rather create jobs, a government that will rather cut corruption, a government that will rather cut on the excessive spending, a government that will cut on the reckless spending, and not a government that will continue to add more taxes to the already suffocating and choking taxes we have been introduced to. This is a government that promised us that they were going to move from taxation to to production.
Right.
But you bear with me and agree with me that more taxes have been introduced by this government. Even before the introduction of this 10% on bed tax, there was a tax on sanitary pads. Don't forget that under the NDC, we promised to even share free sanitary pads. So how did we get here today that those commodities are even being taxed? Don't forget, we are still struggling with e-levy. We are struggling to pay e-levy.
Right. Osman,
so this is a government that is looking for any avenue and anything to tax just to make money. However, if you check the amount of money that this government has had at its disposal, trust me, the government does not need this 10% on the tax of very poor, unemployed youth.
Right. So, Osman, to press on your demand for the government to remove or abolish this tax, you're instituting some measures, some intentions of yours that include picketing?
Your line is a bit bad, but I heard something about picketing.
Right. So what I'm asking is, as part of efforts to drum home your demand for the government to abolish this tax, you've put in place some intents of yours that include picketing at the Ministry of Finance and occupied government offices. To what effect are you seeking to do that and the others you stated in your statement?
Did I hear when we seek to do that or what day we seek to do that? But let me speak the plans we have. Your line is bad, but I think I have an idea what you're trying to ask, maybe about the actions we want to take.
That's fine.
Yes. Now, we are saying that we have series of actions we are going to embark on, and of course, very legal actions. These are not illegal actions. We are going to picket around the Ministry of Finance and government offices across the country. As I've also scale up on a nationwide conventional lawful agitation as a measure of the resistance.
Right.
And don't forget, also go on demonstration. We also occupy the Parliament House. These are things that happen. These are forms of resistance. These are legitimate and legal agitations that people embark register their displeasure.
Okay.
So we are just trying to carry the youth along to let them know what we should prepare for, and it is going to be a long way in fighting the government to be able to stop this tax.
Osman,
so we are
thank
calling on every youth of this country, whether NDC or MPP, whether CPP or APC, whether Muslim or Christian, to join this call so that we will fight against this
Osman
tax.
Ayariga, thank you so much. We're speaking with the Deputy National Youth Organizer of the NDC, Osman Ayariga there. It's now time for sports, and Yawo Fusulabi is here to bring us the latest. Over to you, Yawo.
Well, coming up
Well, Yawo Fusulabi is here for the latest in sport. Over to you, Yawo.
Thank you so much. Now, let's get straight into the sports news this afternoon. And England Sport co-hosts Australia's party by booking their place into the Women's World Cup final for the first time in a historic evening in Sydney. Now, silencing a sellout crowd at the Stadium Australia, the Lionesses became the first English side since 1966 to reach a final stage of the World Cup. It caps a sensational 2 years under manager Sarina Wiegman, as England crowned European champions for the first time last year on home soil and showed their superiority and the know-how to see off an Australian side spurred on by the nation who have been inspired by the Matildas' successes. Well, let's move on now to some more stories right here on the sports segment on Midday Live on TV2. And later tonight, Sevilla will be looking to claim a second UEFA Super Cup crown by causing an upset when they face Manchester City in Athens on Wednesday. Now, the Spaniards lifted the trophy in 2006 when they beat Barcelona 3-0, despite being the underdogs against the Barca side that included Lionel Messi, Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o and Xavi. City will be the overwhelming favourites against... And Brazil forward Neymar has joined Saudi Pro League side Al Hilal from French champions Paris Saint-Germain. The deal for the former Barcelona player is understood to be worth about 90 million euros, that's £6 million plus add-ons. Neymar will earn 150 million euros a year at Al Hilal, which equates to 500,000 euros per day. The 31-year-old was told he wasn't part of coach Luis Enrique's plans for the season and will now play in the Saudi Pro League. Well, to the MLS, where Lionel Messi shrugged off an injury scare to score his 9th goal in 6 games as Inter Miami beat Philadelphia Union to reach the League Cup's final. The Argentine World Cup winner scored Miami's 2nd goal in a 4-1 victory on a day after rolling his ankle in training. Josef Martinez, Jordi Alba and David Ruiz scored for Miami, with Alejandro Bendoya on target for the host. Miami will now play Nashville Sporting Club in Saturday's final. Well, that's all the sports news this afternoon here on Midday Live on TV3. My name is Yao Fusulabi.
All sporting disciplines matter on Warm-Up Plus.
Warm-Up Plus, the most exciting hour on TV. So join the conversation and get updated.
Get sports news, visit exciting places, and be in the know on Warm-Up Plus. Let's go, Diana.
We're just getting started.
We're just getting warmed up.
Catch me, Yao Fusulabi.
And me, Aniela Alote.
Warm-Up Plus, new season coming soon on TV3.
They came, they saw, and are set to conquer. Ghana's Strongest 2023 is at an end, and 4 men will compete for the title in the grand finale. Who wins this year's Ghana's Strongest? Will it be Godfred Akobila with 7 appearances, Bright Appiah, the Swatman, Takrada's finest, Ebenezer Amos, or the new man, Jeffrey Ekufu? Don't miss this epic finale live on TV3 at the Obra Sports on Sunday, 20th August at 2 p.m. Ghana's Strongest, the power to do.
Catch Ghana's Strongest this Sunday only on TV3. Ghana's Strongest is powered by Gasem, the nation builder. Brought to you by Mixi Choco, Channel Hot,
Deluxy Acrylic Paint,
Drugnet.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Let's join Noella Donko for some entertainment news. I beg your pardon. Noella, what's in the package this afternoon?
Well, we've got the EMY Africa Awards. They have their story in Lagos. And also we have some My Blue stories. And Quintea is on to some good works as well.
Do your thing.
Now let's get into the details of the entertainment news updates here on Midday Live. My name is Noella. Now, the exclusive Man of the Year award, the Emmy Africa Awards, held its first ever event outside Ghana over the weekend. As part of activities prior to the main award ceremony, Emmy Africa is known for their soirees aimed at celebrating past winners of the scheme and the current nominees as well. For the year 2023, Nigeria was the host nation for the Lagos soiree. The event saw Dr. Ernest Ofori-Sapon, who happens to be the chairman of the board, Kojo Sobo, executive director of Emmy Africa, and other key members of the board from Ghana in attendance. Other guests include renowned actors like RMD, Chidi Mokeme, Uti Mwachuku, Amake Bebrese, Mauli Gavo, and a host of others. The main EMY Africa Awards 2023 scheduled to take place on 14th of October 2023. Now to some more stories. Reigning GMB queen, Taya Dahomey, continues to empower young people with her community outreach through the Queen Taya Foundation. The affable queen was at the Dakpema MA Primary School in Tamale, and while encouraging students to strive for greatness, she also donated some food items and other assorted materials to students with special needs.
In her bid to impact the society, reigning GMB queen Taya Dahomey has donated some items to the Dakpema MA Basic School. The items included bags of rice, cooking oil, tomato paste and some toiletries. Speaking at a short program to hand over the items to the school, the beauty queen encouraged the teachers to continue giving the necessary assistance to the pupils considering their situation.
You are fortunate that people keep telling you that you need to come out of your shells, and your location is not a barrier. From where you are, you can develop. You can become like me one day, or even more than me one day. To the teachers of this school, I'll say thank you very much, because your efforts are seen. People are watching and they are seeing the good works that you are doing. Just like me, you had no idea that I had this in mind. But I'm here today. Maybe there's someone somewhere who's also seeing the little effort that you are putting in and would want to appreciate you one day. So please don't stop the good work that you are doing.
Headmistress of the school, Christiana Yeye, while enumerating the challenges of the school, expressed gratitude to the Taya Dahomey Foundation for the gesture.
For the special children, don't understand us. So I am saying that my teachers are incredible, because we came together, contributed, and we're giving the special children meals twice in a week. In part of the country, will you see teachers taking something from their pocket to feed children? So
she's an African girl, Ghana's most beautiful is you.
Now finally, less than a year after officially signing on to Lynx Entertainment, fast-rising musician Maya Blue is out with her first EP titled Just Blue on It. The 5-track EP comes with songs like Changeover, Talk Too Much and a host of others. Here are some highlights from the EP listening. Soon after the release of their joint EP, Lynx Entertainment signee Maya Blue has been conscious in cementing her name in the music industry. Events like the show experience and countless high school tours afforded her the opportunity to connect with fans. After months of consistency, Maya Blue is finally out with a 5-track EP she calls Just Blue on It, which captures her musical journey. Songs on the EP include Changeover, Talk Too Much, Antidote, Ona, amongst others. Speaking at the listening party, the show composer was elated that her hard work is getting recognized.
I mean, it's just quite amazing that the hard work you put into something is actually paying off. And I'm so happy that everyone looks happy, after hearing the EP. And it makes me, so excited. Like, I feel like I've really worked hard, and thank me for not giving up on myself and for trying many things. And yeah, definitely, go far. Go far.
And that's how we wrap up on the entertainment news segment here on Midday Live. My name is Noella Donko. Up next is international news.
In news outside the Ghanaian border, Nigerian President Bola Tinubu has paid tribute to soldiers who died in a helicopter crash while on an evacuation mission in Niger State on Monday. The president said the tragic loss of our officers and soldiers had brought immense sadness to me. In a statement, he said they would be remembered as courageous men who did not consider their perils and dangers of their national duty as paramount to their sacred mandate of ensuring that their fellow countrymen and women can live in peace. The helicopter that crashed had been on a mission to evacuate soldiers following an ambush in the area where the army has been fighting armed groups. Now, several soldiers were reportedly killed in the attack. Armed gangs are common across the central and northern Nigeria, where they rob and kidnap for ransom. That's how we draw the curtains on Midday Live this afternoon. My name is Noble Crosby, but there's always more news on our website, 3news.com. On behalf of the entire production team, thank you so much for watching the bulletin. We'll see you again some other time. Good afternoon. Bye-bye.
This program is rated PG. It contains scenes of brief nudity, mild violence, and strong language. Parental guidance is advised.
They came, they saw, and are set to conquer. Ghana's Strongest 2023 is at an end, and 4 men will compete for the title in the grand finale. Who wins this year's Ghana's Strongest? Will it be Godfred Akobila,